Hey girl.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. This is so exciting.
Yes.
How have you been?
It's been a ride. How are you?
I completely understand. I'm good. I'm really
Good.
wonderful.
How is it eating meat, little girl?
How
I
is
can't
it?
hate you for it because I think honestly people should eat to like enjoy themselves. And I'm such a foodie that like I cannot.
It is. My skin is not as wonderful as it used to be. I can say that. That's been my biggest thing where I'm just like, my skin used to be flawless. But now it's like, I definitely desire to go back vegan. It's just a process.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a process.
For sure.
But I'm doing a cleanse this week, so I'm really excited about that. Got all my fruit and stuff. But it's a process.
I'm just like, I don't even want to be vegan. I'm vegan from like allergies and being allergic to everything. So I couldn't even, for me, it's just like I have to be vegan. And so if I'm going to be vegan, I might as well be super healthy about it.
Yeah.
But like, I would love to eat other types of things for sure.
I understand that. Like, it just always takes me back. Like, 'cause when I stopped being vegan, it was I really got really depressed, which is what led me to start eating meat. At that time, I was just like, I was really depressed, and I was like, I really wanted something that was going to make me happy and reminded me of my childhood, and that's really what it was for me. And it's just like once you start eating meat again, it's just so hard to stop. And it's like it kind of like for me, I feel as though it kind of like got away from me, like time, and I didn't realize
Right.
like how much time it went by. I'm like, wow,
You're like, oh my God.
yeah, like,
I have been eating meat for literally months now. Like,
mhm.
I never anticipated any of this.
And it was crazy. Like when I started back eating meat, I think 4 months went by. I had gained 80 pounds. It was really horrible. It was really horrible. Like,
It's a process when you come back because I feel like for me, I gained a lot of weight not only from my injury when I broke my foot, but I was just insanely depressed. There's
yeah.
not even proper words for the type of depression that I had just being back in a country that I didn't really want to be living in.
I understand. See, well, this is why this is going to be a great conversation. But
Yeah.
like, okay, you want to get started now or just like continue our flow?
This is your interview, boo.
Okay, so I appreciate you for like even taking the time and being open to doing this. Like, so basically, for my blog, Exploring Essence, basically, I've had this blog for a few years, but I kind of like took some time off and haven't really been focused on it. But I just had like a burst of inspiration the other day, and I've been focused more on it. And I was like, I really want to hear about the experiences from people that I knew who have lived abroad or traveled. And I feel as though these were really important stories. So I was like, let me reach out to a few people, and like if they respond, they do. If they don't, they don't. And I'm gonna make it whatever happens, happens. So I really appreciate you for being open and responding. So to get started, I want you to do like a short introduction, like just tell us like your name, how old you are, where you're from, where you are currently, your profession, and how like okay, your passion and what interests you most about travel, like how you got into it.
Yeah, totally. Well, hey guys, I'm Mira or Yamira, and I am a 29-year-old international teacher living in Chicago now for 3 years almost.
Wow, man.
And
Like,
I know everything has gone like by. It was super slow, and then suddenly it's so fast, and I'm just like, okay, I've been here for 3 years almost. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, what is the next step? Because I want the next step now, not yesterday.
right, I feel that. Ooh, what is the next step? I love that. Okay, so okay. Okay, so now, okay, tell me more about like we're gonna get there. Because I'm like, now you're like got me asking you questions about and stuff like that. We're gonna get there. Okay. Tell us a little bit about what sparked your interest to travel or to move abroad.
I think I've always been interested in travel from my earliest memories. I would just hear all of my family who had come from Puerto Rico, and like they would live in Puerto Rico for half the year and travel between New Jersey, where I was born, and my mom included. And just like being like, oh my gosh, I want to travel too. But it was like, when you come from a poor family, and even though Puerto Rico, yes, is it a part of the US? Totally, but do they get treated the same? Not at all. So it's like there's not enough money to go around for everyone to travel. It's like I need to go travel to a abuela's house because then I need to help her with some chores over this period of time or woo woo woo. It's like not a cute tropical family vacation type vibe. You know what I'm saying? But I had always imagined it that way in my head. Like, I'm like, this traveling is so glamorous. My mom is always traveling. She has all these stories. And then as I saw her travel more to like Japan and Jamaica and Mexico, I'm like, damn, like this looks awesome. And she would always be like, I'm going to take you one day, but you have to get good grades. Like, keep getting good grades. And I promise, like, I'm going to work my ass off and like take you. Because she never took herself. Someone always took her. She was like a single mom. And so one day she just took me and my brothers, and we went to the Dominican Republic and we went to Haiti. And I was 16 years old, and we spent a week there for her wedding. And it was just awesome. We explored so much. Like, my mom, she's not a let's stay at the resort type of girl. She's like, let's go into the town.
Yeah.
She speaks Spanish. So she's like, we're going into town, we're going shopping, we're eating with people, like seeing what the locals do. And that was so eye-opening. And then I think from that moment, I was always like, I'm going to be like an international teacher. And my parents were like, no, you're not. Like, you're going to be a lawyer. Like, you're going to be a lawyer. You're not going to be a teacher. Like, what? Like, no. And I'm like, but if you're an international teacher, you can teach the kids anywhere, because I kept seeing these little schools wherever we went, like that week we had been away. And I was like, this is so like, I don't know. I just said it. And then, yeah, I think I graduated. I went to college, and I for my college graduation present, I went to Costa Rica. And that kind of
Mhm.
just sealed the deal for me. Like, that I stayed, I think, almost 2 weeks with my parents, and they were just like, here's your gift. Like, they finally invited me on one of their little trips, adventures. And once again, just like when I was 16, here I was like 22 years old, the same situation. We're going into the town. They had rented an Airbnb, like literally on a little hill in the middle of the town. I'm like, this is dope. Like, we're speaking Spanish, like we're eating like bomb food. We went to the grocery store. We didn't eat at too many restaurants. And it was just like so awesome how my mom navigated the like
Mhm.
in different countries all the time. Like, I was just like so girl crushed on it, and I wanted to do it too. And that's kind of how it all started.
I love that. Like, oh, see, Costa Rica is like one of my dream trips. I really want to go to
Oh,
Costa Rica. Like, I
like
want to go to the Dominican Republic. I want to go to Haiti. Like, you're speaking
I
here of the.
cried in Haiti. I
Mhm.
cried in Costa Rica in the jungle. Like, I just can't believe my parents, like, that's the one thing I wanted to do, like hike up in the jungle by the volcanoes. And it's so steep. They're quite older, like than me, obviously, but they did it for me. And we all just had a religious experience.
I love that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so like 22. That's when you went to Costa Rica. So let's talk about like when you decided to actually move abroad and teach.
That's like 4 months later.
How did
Yeah, I'm like, that trip was the catalyst. I kept saying this whole time because my mom's best friend was also on the trip with her son, and her son was like 25 or something like that at the time. And he lived in Denver. He was like an English major, kind of like the same vibe, woo woo. And she was just like, I always thought like Scotty was gonna like do the job that you keep saying, but like he just settled like in Denver, like, and he has his job now. Woo. And I'm like, I know it sounds so cool to be like an international teacher. Like, you should tell my mom, like, it's totally a vibe. And that's what I've actually been like doing low key in school.
Mhm.
Like, here they are thinking I'm going to law school in a couple of months. And here I am, like, applying to jobs that are like out of the country. And I just remember, like, I was like, okay, I can try to find a job here, but like, whatever job hits me up first is the job that I'm going to go and do. And one of those jobs was like in Kushan. It wasn't even in Shanghai. And then I just happened to like get into a spot in Shanghai, which was so glamorous back in the time, like 2016, Obama is president.
Man. Oh my goodness. I love this. So, 2016. So I moved to China in 2018. So I know like you had a good 2 years like before me, and I know it had changed so much by the time I got there. Okay, tell us about that experience with you initially moving there.
Yeah, I just had like a little job offer teaching over there, and I did not know a lick of Mandarin. And so back then, the signs were not in English. Like, how it had transformed so rapidly, like the signs and people even speaking English is a whole phenomenon in itself, to be quite honest. And I just remember getting there, I had literally $1,000 and 200 of it had to be taken away because my bags were overweight and I was bawling. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to live with just like $800. Like, I am so screwed. Like, this is terrible. So my initial like going into Shanghai was terrible. I felt terrible. I called my mom. I like cussed her out. I was like, "Oh my God, you weighed the bags. The bags are too heavy. Now I'm $200 short." And she's over here on the side of the road puking because her firstborn is like going off. And she's like, "Don't even fight with me right now. I'm like having a fucking panic attack, dude. Like, call me when you land, but like, I'll see you when I see you because otherwise you'll have to come home with me. Like, this is crazy right now." And so, yeah, I left and I spent almost 4 years in Shanghai.
That's beautiful.
I
Like,
don't know. There's like a lot in between. I'm like,
yeah.
where do you? I'm like, there was 4 whole years.
So, okay, how did you prepare to leave? Because I know you said you went to Costa Rica, then 4 months later you left, went to China. How did you prepare for that? Mentally, emotionally, financially?
Yeah, so it was like 4 months later, I got the job offer. I went to Costa Rica, and 4 months later, I got a job offer. And then that initial process actually took like 2 months or so because you have to do the paperwork and you have to wait for a visa and you have to get things notarized. And so back then, I don't know how it is now, but Shanghai didn't take so many people, and you really had to have every single step to get in there. And it was so tough, so tough. Like, the immigration process was grueling. And on any type of day, they could just be like, yeah, we don't want you in the country because you're black. So like, no, we're not going to give you your visa, which has happened to me several times, which we'll get into, I'm sure, later. Just like my deportation, going through Hong Kong, coming back, getting deported in Hong Kong, like just a mess. So anyone who wants to travel, look at immigration, look at the visa process, like have everything like double, triple copied, prepared, sealed up, because that is a lot of money and it takes a lot of time. And if you can just have that now in your home country, you save so many steps. So I would say that whole process, and just doing a little bit of onboarding for work online, that was like almost 2 months. And then I went, and it was winter time here. And then it was like the fresh new year. So
Yeah.
yeah, December 1st, I landed in New Year to Shanghai. And I missed all of the parties, I remember, because the next day I landed or whatever. And so, yeah, it was very scary. Everything was in Mandarin. The weather was terrible. The Smog was a huge culture shock to me. Like it clung. The sky was just gray for the first couple of weeks I lived there. Excuse me. Let me get some water. But yeah, that was a huge culture shock. The sky.
I remember the smog. That's like what really led me to wearing masks way before like COVID.
Mhm.
But I remember I've never had bronchitis. I don't get sick. I got bronchitis. I think my second year being in China. Like it was a lot, and I was like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I really have to wear my mask. Okay, prior to two-part question: why did you choose China out of all countries that you could have went to? And did you have any expectations or preconceived notions prior to traveling there?
Um, yeah, no, I picked China because it was the first job. Like I had graduated, I put my feelers out everywhere.
Same.
And then it was literally the first job that I felt like the pay was decent enough, the cost of living was cool, and there were going to be so many hot guys. I was just like, there's just going to be so many hot guys from all over the world. Check, check, and check.
I
But
feel
that is definitely what made me want to live there. And I had no knowledge about what anything was really going to be, other
Mhm.
than it was a very international city. And I really vibe with that because I went to SIU Carbondale in Illinois. And though I loved it and had the best time, even would love kids to go there were a lot of racial issues there. And I just wanted something fresh, something new, you know?
I love that. Now I get it. I went to a HBCU, so I mean, I don't know. I've been around Black people my whole life, so I enjoyed the. It was moving to Shanghai was like a breath of fresh air, and it was
Yes.
much needed at that point in time in my life. It was just, I don't know. I feel as though living in Asia is like the freest I've ever felt.
Oh, hands
Like,
down. Like, I would love to have a vacation home there
yeah.
and just go there a few months of the year or whenever because you just feel so tranquil,
Mm,
so at peace. The food is so much cleaner. Like, once you know how to look for certain things, um, the only thing is just like it's more polluted.
mhm, definitely. Okay. So what type of challenges have you had, like, did you have during your time living in China? And how did you overcome them?
I would say like the biggest challenges were obviously not knowing Mandarin,
Mhm.
even though nowadays you could pretty much skate by with knowing zero Mandarin. Back in 2016, that was not the freaking case. Um, and what else? Just like micro racism,
Mm,
like even coworkers, like just blatantly liking certain coworkers over you because of like the color of their skin or their genitalia. So like prejudice too.
yeah.
Um, that was really shocking because it was like so in your face, which is also kind of nice. Like, way to just be yourself, and I know exactly where we stand
Right.
instead of like you coming to hang me while I'm like on my run. But you let me teach your kids.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like once you get over that initial shock, you're cool. And the Mandarin you'll pick up because you hear it all the time. So at least like the basic phrases you end up learning. But yeah, I think like my accent, I would always feel so embarrassed about my accent because it was like Shanghai, and my Chinese teacher, she had a Beijing accent. So they're like, not only do you look proper, like you sound super proper and snooty too. Like fucking American, like all the time. And yeah, my one neighbors when I lived in like a lane house, they would like watch out my window to listen to me like have sex, like just
Oh my God.
yes, just like weird stuff, because they would be like, Black people like have, you know how it is, just like weird stuff like that. When the pandemic hit, they like trashed the area I lived in and the apartment complex and stuff. It was just weird.
Sure. I didn't know that. That's whew, we're gonna get to the pandemic because that was a whole another issue. I want to know a little bit about
Did I drink a Topo Chico? Is that okay?
you're fine.
I just got home. I was gone all day at like Pilates. I got my nails done. I'm totally gonna get a Topo Chico. Excuse me.
Okay.
I wish you could have one with me.
Me too. I wish I could. I'm gonna have it virtually.
Okay. Let me just this little. Yeah. I go to work tomorrow, so always feel.
I have to work tomorrow too, but I work remotely, so it makes me happy. I have a meeting at 7 a.m. every Monday.
Nice.
So I wanted to ask about what had to do with teaching in China. My mind went blank for a second. Okay. Okay. So as far as like getting the job and getting acclimated to like the school, and what would you say that experience was like?
I would say that was like the easiest experience. I'm like by nature a teacher, still a teacher till this day, like I said, when I introduced myself. And so I always found, to me, teaching in Shanghai came very naturally. And that's probably why I ended up getting into leadership roles and like, just thriving there as an educator.
I love that. Because I know for some people it was really difficult. Like I had friends from high school who end up trying to come to China and they did not last a month. Like,
But my biggest thing is like, you need to come with a skill, and not everyone is a teacher. And so like there's other visas you can get besides like that visa, and you need to understand you need to have a skill for real. Like you just can't be there like, I think it's going to be easy to teach these kids. Like you either can have it, the
yeah,
like thing about what makes you a teacher, or you don't. And then you're either like someone who's in like food and beverage, like I knew so many people in food and beverage, or you're someone who's like in fashion and beauty, or you're someone who's in tech engineering. Like you just have a skill. Like everyone is there for a purpose. Shanghai is a huge expat city and
yeah.
thrives on it being an international business hub. So like pick your skill, and if you go in there with the wrong skill that you've picked, you can be very miserable. I've seen it too, like people just trying to find a way out, thought that they could just like teach these kids ABCs and like that is it. It's actually like a real art form. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't do that myself because I am a teacher. Like I was a kindergarten teacher. I was a first grade teacher, like I was actually teaching and I really enjoyed it. But once again, I knew that was going to be my job and I knew I was good going into it.
Yes. Okay. So when you think about your experience moving to China, what would you say surprised you the most, or something that you didn't expect about living in Shanghai?
How people would be so snooty back in the day about what neighborhood you lived in. Was that just like my friends, myself, or like did you ever experience that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember when I first moved there, I lived in Pudong, and I swear that that shit was close. It was not a far travel at all. You were only on green line. But you were only on green line. You didn't ever have to switch. I'm like, if you can stay on one line and the first like stop out in Pudong is me,
Mhm.
boom, that's not far compared to going to several lines, make that make sense. And you know what? I've timed it. And so I know for sure, like, there's other places that are fucking far too, like Xinjiang, and like all the way Shuwei, like all the way on the left side too. Like people would live in Shuwei, and I'm like, you would live there?
Yeah,
That's so much further than Pudong.
I feel like I lived in the middle. I lived off Zhongtang Road, and it was close. I feel like it was close.
Well, yeah. In the end, I did live in the center, which was my beautiful apartment. When the pandemic like went down, I had finally, after so many years, worked so hard for such a nice apartment.
But life.
I swear.
It happens for a reason.
I swear.
Okay. Tell us about, what would you say has been like your favorite experience or memory while living in Shanghai?
I just met so many fabulous people. Like, and we're still friends, and I still talk to so many people, and I've seen a few people since, and I just appreciate the really genuine people that I've met there, because it's a tough city to get used to thrive in and to navigate for sure. And so to have those people that were some of your tribe to still, no matter where you live now, it's so awesome. And there are so many people all over the place.
Yes, especially now. And that's one thing I loved about living in Shanghai is you were able to cultivate all these relationships, and then like once you leave, you still have those relationships. And so it's like you go to another country, you can like reconnect with these people. And I love that so much.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Like tell us about the friendships that you were able to cultivate and the different relationships that you were able to build with people and the type of people you encountered while living in China.
All types of people for sure, from interesting, intense Dutchmen. I will never forget the Dutchman. Like, I will never forget him. To that, to, blatant kind of like, I don't know, like, what kind of things we can talk about, because, like, some shit is, like, kind of honest, you know?
Yes.
Some of that really brutally honest shit that goes down, that no one likes to talk about, specifically with females. I would say getting used to that is just like, no, like, you can act any type of way towards me because I'm a female. Like, this is not a vibe, dude. Like, I'm an American woman. You're not. We do not take this or tolerate this at all, and we will call you out on it. So, like, kind of, that's my personality, and putting that in that kind of, society atmosphere was a little bit difficult at first, but then I kind of navigated making friendships through WeChat. I love WeChat. I wish we had like an American version. I always say that.
I think it would be great, but I also think it would be too much. Like I don't feel as though it would. I feel as though the WeChat in China was like very productive, and it was like a great way to connect and network and fun. I feel as though here it would be too much. Like I don't feel as though it would.
You're speaking a lot of hard truth, and unfortunately, you're not wrong about that. People are just, yeah.
I understand. Okay, so tell us about your dating experience. What was dating like in China?
Did you like dating in China?
I think it was very interesting.
What was so interesting about it?
So prior to moving to China, I used apps to meet people back home prior to moving, because that was fun for me, because I just wanted to go on dates for free. So I made the decision that when I moved to China, I was like, I'm just going to like meet people in person, because like I'm really great. Like I used to bartend, and I still bartend. I can meet people in person and like really like feel their energy and like know them. So I told myself when I moved to China, I was just going to only date people who I actually met in person. I didn't want to use the apps. So I felt like it was interesting. I think about the first man I went on a date with. I try to think about now, why did I go on this date? But um, I know I was walking down the street. I'm trying to think about where I was going. You know where Jingon is, where like the Jingon Temple in the mall, and then there's a street that you go down, and it takes
Mhm.
you near all these nice shops, and then the big, I think it's the Four Seasons or something. I can't remember the hotel.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was walking from Jingon towards that direction, met this man. He just randomly stopped me. He was like, "You are so beautiful," and he was an older black man. I'm quite sure he was 50 something. Okay, but I like he just
Yeah, like has no number. Like it's cool.
right. So like he asked me on a date. I went on the date, and it was just very funny. The date was going so well. I feel like we were like getting to know each other. We had drinks, we had food, we were getting to know each other. But then at some point in time, like he asked me, like, he was talking about how he's a Christian and he's saved and all this good stuff. So
Okay.
so I'm just thinking like, okay, that's so great. Like this is
Yeah, we love it for you.
right. So he keeps talking about that, and then he ends up saying something like, so when was the last time you were in a relationship? And I was explaining to him prior to moving to China that I was in a relationship and all this. He was like, have you healed from that relationship? And I was like, yeah, I feel as though I've done the work to heal to heal through it. And he was like, well, how have you gone through the process of healing? I was like, I've meditated, I've prayed, I've like released, I haven't like,
But like, what is it to him?
I'm getting there. So he was like, but like, so he was like, you haven't done enough work yet. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, the way that you are supposed to release and relieve yourself of your past partners is you are supposed to put your fingers on the inside of yourself and pull it out. We're at a restaurant, okay? And so I'm just looking at him because I'm
Like, okay.
like this is I was just so confused on the direction that this conversation was going. I just never talked to him again because it was just the weirdest conversation.
Inappropriate.
Yeah, and I felt like he was just trying to keep it going, and I was just like, at that point, I was just so confused, like because he kept going, and I just was just so like, I thought she was talking about God and praying, and this is it was weird.
Just yeah. No, this is also a first date. Let's keep it light, flirty, sexy.
Yeah, it was weird, and I was like, he'll never see me again. Other than that, I feel as though I don't know. I feel like dating in Shanghai was really fun because there was a lot of fun places to go. That's what was fun to me.
Okay.
All the places you can go. Would I say that it was like serious dating? I don't feel as though there was anybody I could take serious. I could say that.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Because it is such a huge city, and there's like 25, 26 million people, at least during the time when we lived there, and most of those people being expats as well. It's just like there is a lot of inventory, whether you know what I'm saying? Like there is everyone and anyone from down the street to your gym, to your job, to the bar you like to go to, everywhere. There is someone up for grabs. And I would say like for me that was so dangerous because I was so like boy man crazy like coming into Shanghai like I always was in college. And even going to Shanghai was just like heightened. I loved the dating scene there, and I fell in love a couple of times in Shanghai. Yeah, I had really good partners there for sure.
I love that. I don't know. It was really interesting because I also dated women in China. It was just very interesting. I think Chinese women. I actually found Chinese women. They really liked me. that, you know, China was a fun time. I would say that.
I
Definitely
would
fun there.
I would say like it's definitely a place where your fantasies can come to life so easily.
Mhm.
It's just a huge playground for BDSM, you know, like all types of couplings. Just you'll see everything and anything imagined
Yeah.
and some of those deep dark scenes there. And so I just really appreciate all of the types of guys and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about it now. Like, man, you're saying that you never took anyone serious. I'm like, definitely fell in love. Oh, good old 2 times. My friends would always make fun of me. They're like, she's in love again. Like, yes, yes, check and check. Like, I had some very good experiences, but definitely some freaky ones too, like the Dutchman.
What happened with the Dutchman?
He was gorgeous, I will say, so gorgeous. We went to like the cutest first date, like speakeasy, and it was just like I felt like the men in Shanghai, they had such great jobs.
Yeah.
So they could like take you to some of the best places, and it wasn't because they were trying super hard. It's just their tax bracket. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I'm just like, it was such a beautiful first date, secret club. And he really had planned everything prior. And the bartender like knew I was a vegan and like my vibe. And like they just make drinks off of vibes.
Mhm.
So like when I got there, like he already kind of knew what he was gonna make. And I was like, okay, like this guy, like he plans ahead, like awesome. Like this is a cool place too. And just like we're casually like talking, like keeping it cute, flirty, fun, first date vibes. And he's just like, yeah, like the only way like, we can really seal the deal if we're gonna go on a second date is like we've gotta fuck. And
Oh.
I'm just like, literally, your exact response was my exact response. I was just like, oh, yeah, no, not at all. Call the Uber, like, do 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 do. Like, this was cool until it wasn't.
Mhm. See, it's just people just go too far too soon. Like you really gotta like feel the energy. Like, no.
I'm like, why did you have to say that?
Mhm. Okay. So with being in China, being a black woman, okay, not just a black woman, a Spanish woman. How do you feel as though like how did people react to meeting you for the first time? What were those interactions like?
I felt like people either really liked me or didn't. There was like no in between. Like, you either really liked me or you didn't. And like, I'm such a confident person. Maybe it's because I'm a Leo. I'm just like, I don't care.
Right. I feel that.
Some people are for me, some people are not for me. So, yes, some people I'm for them and sometimes I'm not. Like, that's cool. And so I always felt like I had my tribe, you know, I was really heavy in the vegan scene there. And then I exercised heavily. So, like, I knew a lot of people that way. And then I knew a lot of people in just like different groups
Mhm.
because we had. And so I would go to like brunches and socials, and I always made friends. So felt like I was really social when I lived there.
I love that. Me too. Okay, tell people like who don't really know what WeChat is. Explain that.
WeChat is basically this huge app with everything on it from like paying your bills to like talking to your mom to like making a group with your colleagues at work for like happy hour. Like you can group everything up. It's like an instant messenger
Mhm.
app, but you can also pay bills and like watch videos, find it's everything through one kind of platform, which is a messaging app when you break it down.
And WeChat is amazing. It's like
And you
it also like your own profile and you can make posts kind of like you do on Instagram and stuff like that. There's so
South
many
things, yeah.
man, I think about so many things. I feel as though Shanghai was like the most efficient city I've ever lived in.
Oh,
Like,
hands down. hands down. And it just sucks that like to see what it's like right now.
I'm like, and I have moments where I'm like, I miss Shanghai so much. Like, people don't understand, but people, I feel as though who haven't lived there, they won't understand. And then some people, they were finished with Shanghai, so they left. I just needed a break. That's why I left and went to Thailand. Okay. What was my next question? Okay, tell us about when I moved to China, I was vegan since 2014. Like I literally stopped being vegan in 2021, 22. When did I move back to the US? Last year. And last year was 2022, right? So in 2021 August, I stopped being vegan.
Okay.
So tell us about your experience, how long you've been vegan, and what was that like in China? How did you?
I haven't always been vegan, but I've always been vegetarian because I'm super allergic to everything. And then like I was more increasingly allergic to things when I was in Shanghai. And I remember like I just started puking everywhere after I ate eggs and tomato.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I used to love eggs and tomato was my jam over some rice. Like how cheap, simple, full of protein and healthy AF. Like I had the craziest abs when I was eating that every fucking day for like the first 3 months I lived there. And so then like I just got sick off that. And I remember like I had a friend at work, he was a vegan. And then my friend Shanice, she was also a vegan. And so I was like, I think I can do this. Like I'm just getting way too sick when I'm eating eggs. And then I started to get really sick when I started to drink the drinkable yogurts and stuff. So I was just like, I'm allergic now to all this shit too. Awesome. And I became a vegan, I think I want to say in 2017. And I've been vegan ever since. At first, it was so hard. Even being a vegetarian was really hard, like 2016, early 2017. And then I think because it was such a fad in Hollywood being vegan, it started to go crazy in Shanghai. But then people were also like, oh my God, the health benefits are insane. Like this is amazing and more sustainable as well for the environment and economics. And so you started to see more of that push because before it was like, yeah, the monks and Buddhists, they love to eat vegetarian, but vegan is a whole other thing, like completely no animal products. And that's very hard in China, very hard. But increasingly, they just had the best vegan food in the world. Like,
I'll tell everybody that Shanghai, I feel as though they really
my lips are like
so well. Like, I love Shanghai for veganism. I feel as though they really like as a culture and just like it's something they really like research, studied, and learned how to just like when it comes to cuisine. I feel as though like Shanghai is top tier. Period.
Oh, hands down, baby.
But they like they. I can't even explain it, but I love Shanghai when it comes to veganism. Like, and I'm like,
and the vegan Chinese food there.
top
here.
Yes.
Top. I like was making a post the other day in the Chicago vegans group. I was like, guys, I am looking now for this dish for 3 years. Like, where is it? Where?
What is it?
It's like the wheat gluten, you know, the brown wheat gluten sponge with mushrooms in the brown sauce. Oh, over. That is my love.
Can I tell you, my whole life growing up, I never ate mushrooms. Like I didn't start eating mushrooms until I moved to Shanghai. And they literally just it's like they just know how to do everything. And it's the way like the food, like the vegetables would be prepared is just top tier. The way that they cooked mushrooms and paired it with things, it just won me over. Like,
You're not lying. I'm like, the food was so amazing. And I'm still trying to figure out how the heck I was so tiny. I'm like, how was I eating all of that good food and so thin?
I was like in China, that I was the teeniest I've ever been in my life while I was living in China. I look back at pictures because like for my Snapchat, I was always taking pictures. So in my memories, pictures pop up and I'm just like, I don't even remember being that small. And then like my sister and my mom, like they'll tell me like, yeah, they was like, yeah, we thought you were sick over there because I was just so teeny. But I'm just like, I felt wonderful and I looked good. Like I feel as though that was the most confident that I've ever been. And I just my energy levels were just like off the charts. Like even like when I think about being a vegan and like eating like plant-based foods, just the way that my mind operates, it just operates on a higher level to
Oh
me.
my God. Remember that pizza place, girl? Oh, that pizza place. Oh my gosh. That one pizza place. And
Which one? The one that made the Mexican pizza? The
no.
pizza, or the one like where that Italian was he Italian?
Yes, the
Yeah.
Italian one, and he loved you every time you would come. He loved you. Oh my God, he would make the pizza so fire every time I was with you.
He really did, and he would message me all the time, like, I feel as though I would have gave that man a chance. Hey, because
Hey, I mean, I definitely got down with a few chefs.
that's what like Shanghai was just this is just a different place in the world. Like, I try to express that to people. I try to encourage everybody who I know I can't convince everybody to move to China, but at
Right.
least visit. Like, I just want people to experience what it's like living there.
Totally. The vibe was just unmatched,
Yeah,
unreal. And though I can't speak to how it is now,
yeah,
it definitely was a major catalyst in my bug. And, I have not stopped traveling. I'm planning my trip now to Europe. I'm so excited this summer once I graduate with my master's. My friends and I were going to Europe. And I just love that. Like, I've been so ready to get out, but I've been in grad school and always with a deadline. And so I'm so ready. Like, I have a million trips planned and I cannot wait to rock and roll. The world is more open. We're learning how to better manage COVID. It's always going to be with us. Now, how can we best protect ourselves and still go on with our daily lives? Because we got to stop like letting this be the excuse as to like why we can't travel or do the things that we want. Like, we have to overcome it.
yes, I love that. So okay, so where else have you? Okay, while living in China, even outside of that, where else have you traveled?
I was in Dubai. Ooh, Dubai was so fabulous. I loved all of the vibes, so glamorous. The people, men, women, like everyone was so glamorous. Oh my goodness. Thailand, I loved it because it was so spiritual and everyone was friendly. Indonesia. Can I tell you something?
Mhm.
Everyone's going to hate me for saying this on your blog, but I thought Indonesia, Bali was overrated and not my vibe. I like tranquil, cute beaches. Like, I way more like the Philippines. Like, I am a total Philippines girl over Indonesia.
Wow. But there are like so many different islands in Indonesia. I want to visit them all.
I just I went to several and I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it. I just felt like if I want to go to those types of countries, I want to see a beach.
Mhm.
And so I just feel like compared to some of the beaches that I've seen, it wasn't as it wasn't just what I thought it was going to be. Maybe I need to go again, but I loved the Philippines so much. Oh my gosh, especially El Nido, like a very small island. That was super cute. I've been to a billion places in Europe. I can't wait to go this summer. That's where I feel super at home. Like I felt like the people were so friendly when I was in Germany and Italy, and everyone had like the best intentions towards me. They were friendly, giving directions. The food, vegan food in Germany. And my boyfriend at the time, I felt like he was getting so pissed because like I just kept wanting to eat the vegan food because it was my thing was he kept getting disappointed low key with like the meat that he was getting. And I was just like, okay, well, like, let's go to this vegan restaurant. And like we would go in our day, like we had traveled to Europe together. He was there for about 3 months and I went for a month. And I swear, he was awesome about eating vegan food. And so that's why we had the day split up, like half the day vegan, half the day he would eat the food he wanted to eat. But my food was always better in Germany. He would get so upset. Like the food in Germany, if you've never gone, go.
It's on my list. Like you're saying a whole bunch of places. I'm like, okay, on my list. I'm putting it on my list.
Puglia, Italy, oh my gosh, the best pasta ever. Like they just make it for you on spot, like so fresh. Um, that was one of my favorite places because you get to get day drunk and like eat a bunch of pasta.
Mm.
But I also didn't realize like you will gain a lot of weight eating and drinking nonstop for almost a whole month. So that Europe trip, I gained like 10 pounds and it was so sad coming back. That was the first time ever coming back from a trip where I was depressed.
Oh,
Like I had the best memories, the funnest times, but like I was just depressed because I ate everything unapologetically and I wasn't prepared to gain so much weight.
I feel that. But it still sounds like an amazing experience.
I'm going to do the same thing this year and I'm just mentally prepared that that's going to happen.
But like you know how to bring yourself back and to recenter yourself. So
I'm going to eat all the foods, girl, for sure. You cannot tell me anything differently.
I love that. I've really been enjoying this. Like, yes. So, I was about to ask you something else about one of the things I love about China was like the holidays and having long breaks. How do you feel as though, or do you feel how? I'm trying to how to word this. Compared to living in the U.S. and like how we don't really get long holiday breaks, do you feel as though how China situates or like plans these into people's lives each year? How do you feel as though that would benefit us in America?
I love it because it's a really tough country. We lived in Shanghai and like that is purposely set up to be like a wonderful, glamorous, fast-paced type of city. It was engineered that it wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many locals get pissed seeing how it's changed so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But say the whole question again. I want to get all of it.
So like how do you feel as though like how the government like how like Chinese New Year, how
Do
would
you think
they
it would benefit us?
yeah, here in America? Just to have longer holidays and for like them to factor in the fact that
So
we
that's what I'm kind of saying. Like, it's definitely difficult to live there. And I want to also put that on living in the US. And I don't think a lot of people know or want to say. Actually, they do know. They just don't want to admit the way of life here is extremely difficult. Like, it is wear and tear on your body, mind, and soul for sure. And people don't get it. Like, people think like it's just like the movies and it's not. And so one thing I appreciate about China is that they do give all of these holidays throughout the year where you're like forced to recenter and regroup because it's like you have made it this far and now you still have some more work to do, but like celebrate what you've made so far in the year. And I love that. And my work has kind of adapted that because I work in the roughest neighborhood in Chicago, and teachers are dropping like flies. They don't want to be there. Like, I swear at my work now, the list is long every day, and these are the teachers supposed to be teaching the lessons, but the classes, that's a whole other discussion. But I do appreciate my work because they kind of have those types of breaks that China does, and it's a new implementation. Like, we didn't always have these types of breaks over the years, and it's kind of nice to see Chicago embracing all these breaks in the year with the students. I'm about to be on break in a couple of days, actually.
Awesome. Okay, so okay, 2 questions, kind of 3. What was your experience in China when COVID happened? Like, how did you navigate that?
It had already been happening, but no one was like calling it COVID, but like we knew what was happening because everything was sold out and everyone was in a panic.
Yeah.
And it was Chinese New Year and everyone was traveling, including myself. And that
I did not go anywhere. I was there.
oh my gosh. So like I remember I got back from Dubai. I had COVID. My poor roommate, he thought I was probably dying. I thought I was dying. I got super sick coming to I want to say coming to Dubai because I was a little like just I don't know, like right here, and right here was super just like inflamed my whole trip, and I was suffering silently. And I just thought it was like a head cold or whatever from traveling. Like, there was tons of people on the flight. I took several flights, and then no, like that was November, December of 2019, and we were already like experiencing COVID in Asia. And so it was really scary because we were living with it for like 2 months prior to even just an acknowledgement. It still wasn't COVID, but it was like a bunch of people in China are super sick. Like, like that was the news, but like we had been living with it, and it was so scary, so scary to not have the things you needed, like bleach and masks and things like that. And I was petrified. I like was freshly single at the time too. And I was just so scared when it all went down. And then I had been in Chinese New Year visiting my parents, and I was just too petrified to go back. I had to go one way here, and I could not bring myself to go back, no matter how much like my work had wanted me to go, was paying for it. And it was funny because it's like, yeah, I say I was like freshly broken up with, but like I said, I love dating there. So I had been seeing this other guy, and he was like, do you want me to like let you come to Hong Kong or whatever? And I'm like, no, like I think this is God's plan at this point, because this plane ride to the US was so scary. My plane flew into the craziest part in Chicago. It's an abandoned part of the airport. I was so scared. They wouldn't let us leave until a cop came. He was like checking temperatures. We had to walk miles into like the actual airport after we finally were let off. Someone on my flight was super sick with COVID. It was just scary.
What month was that you end up coming back? Well, going to Chicago.
Late January, I think.
So that was really early. Like, wow. Yeah. I did not know that's when you left and just did not go back.
It was an accident.
Yes.
And I just refused to go back. And like my work was paying me to like teach online because the schools were all online, and my work loved me and I like loved them. And I didn't think I would not want to come back, but I just was too scared to get on the plane to go back. I didn't want to be all alone if I got sick.
That's wild. Like, so because I didn't go anywhere for Chinese New Year, I was just there. Okay, and I did have a boyfriend. We did live together, but that's besides the point. I feel like we were just friends. So that's why I was like, I didn't really have like nothing. But so we were there Did not go anywhere for the break. So it was kind of fun going outside and there being absolutely no one outside. And we just like recorded videos the whole time because this is the only time where the streets were empty.
Right.
So that was awesome. We didn't end up leaving China until I think March or April. I can't remember. It was March or April, and we ended up leaving because my job said they didn't know when we would start back, but they wanted us to start making these videos as like recruitment videos, but they weren't paying us. And so I said, I didn't see the point of doing it if I wasn't getting paid. And y'all
Literally.
and they said they didn't know when they were going to pay us again. So I didn't see the point of doing it, but I had already been saving up money. I think by that time I had like $15,000 saved up because I'm like, I remember when I got my new job, I was there. I was me and my boyfriend. I moved in with him and his two roommates, Dean and Brendan. So my rent was literally, it was rent broken up 4 ways. So I think I was paying $500 every 2 months.
Wow.
So I was just saving my money and just spending on things that I just wanted. And so I was just like, I wanted to go on vacation because I'm like, I didn't go nowhere for Chinese New Year. So I was like, I want to go on vacation. Let's go to Thailand because Thailand was the only place accepting people who had been in China. So it had to be. It had to be March because we were going to go to the Philippines because our friend Missouri and Nicole they were in the Philippines and we were going to go meet them there, but we could not get a flight there because they were not accepting people who had been in China. And
I remember you were going through all of this. I was so scared for you. I was like,
I was so mad, but I was like, when I saw that flight and it said people who were in China could still go to Thailand, I was like, let's pack up all our stuff, let's go to Thailand. And my goal was to go to Thailand and then travel all of like the bordering countries. I did not know that I think 25 days into us being in Bangkok, they told us that they were about to close the borders and nobody could leave Thailand. And we had booked an Airbnb in Phuket. So our flight was supposed to leave 3 days later from Bangkok to Phuket. The email they sent and the government was saying we had to leave that night or we couldn't leave because they were closing transportation through the provinces as well. The whole airport was closing. So we ended up having to book a flight that night because we had already paid for our Airbnb for the next month. So that's how I ended up staying in Thailand for 2 years.
What about? Oh,
it was perfect. I feel as though it was God's plan, honestly, and everything was in alignment and it was meant to happen. That's how I looked at it. But no one could imagine what life would have been like at that time or where they would have been. But I just look at it as a blessing in so many ways, and life is wild. Life is wild.
It really is, and it just like shows that, man, we really have had some of the best experiences, things that people dream about, their wildest dreams. And the craziest part is that we are still extremely young. So this is not even the tip of the iceberg for us. And so I'm so excited to see like where you go next, where I go next. Like I'm ready to leave Chicago. So who knows? Like,
yes. I love that. I have so many plans within this next year and things I want to do. I just feel like everything in my life is in alignment now and just elevate. So I'm just embracing it all. Okay. Do you have any final words, tips, or advice for anyone, Black women specifically, or anyone who has an interest or desire, or they're afraid to travel or move abroad?
I just think that Black women definitely should go for it because traveling will just open your eyes to so many different possibilities about your own self and what you are capable of, and even financial freedoms and generational wealth. And there's just so many doors through travel, and I cannot imagine my children, my grandchildren not sharing this with me. And so if you think like me, oh my God, I'm so fucked. I have $800. Like, no, now I have investments, retirement, like, I've traveled a billion places, have the best memories, mementos, friendships, like, businesses. Like, oh my gosh, just go for it. And even if it's something small and you're not looking for all that just yet, it's like your first trip, do it because you deserve it and you will see that your life is so, so, so much worth more than you just staying in a little small town in the US and not going out and exploring other types of cultures and people different from what you know.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Yes, I feel as though this is going to touch so many people. Okay, so Yamira, tell us what's next for you. I know you said that once you get your master's, you are going to Europe. Tell us more. What's
And we'll see. We'll see.
we'll see. Okay,
Yeah.
where can people find you?
I'm not that huge on social media. I'm more nerdy, but you can find me on my Instagram where I post most, and that is Yameira, Yamiera, Essence, like you, ESSENCE, and that's it, Yamiera Essence on Instagram.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad that you are open and willing to do this.
It was fun, and it was good to talk to you after so long like that.
No, I know, like we both have had so many different experiences and things happen in life since China. Like, so this was really great.
Yay.
And so
Don't be a stranger.
that's what I was gonna say. We need to make sure we stay connected.
Definitely. Well, thank you for having me, Boo.
Welcome. Thank you, and we will talk soon.
Okay, bye.
I did want to say, because for the blog, if you have any pictures that you want me to use, please send them my way, or either through Gmail or however you want to send them, so I can
Perfect.
use them.
Cool. I'll send some to you.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a great week. Okay. This was so wonderful. So excited. I don't know how to stop a recording. So I'm learning. I'm learning as I go. It's such an experience.